One of the most underutilized self-improvement disciplines and behaviors that we just discard and take for granted is sleep. Sleep is so underrated, I tell you. That is the number one way to recover, right? If you're looking for results in that sense and looking to burn fat and the path to recovery, sleep is the number one way to get there. I'm not saying that you should be sleeping all day. Use that as an excuse to not do anything. I'm talking about strategically sleeping. So you think about what your body does on a day in, day out basis, all the work that you're putting in, right? All the stress that your body is undertaking through life's ups and downs. And life's gonna throw you challenges, right? Any age, it could be health conditions as well. So this is why I beat the drum on the health card, on the topic of health, because everything else will get tough for you. Everything else challenges your day-to-day problems, your relationships, your arguments, your misunderstandings. Human interaction and connections can text you, and sometimes with the wrong people, it can lead you astray down the wrong path, even to self-destruction. Some people have chemical substance abuse issues, addictions, right? Think about what sleep does for you in all of these situations. Let's remove the addictions aside for a moment and just talk about resting, period. How many of us are getting 6 to 7 to 8 hours quality sleep every day? How many of us are doing that, right? How many of us have actually consciously paid attention to, hey, when am I sleeping? What time am I going to bed? How long am I up watching TV? When am I eating dinner, right? Am I eating before 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock? I know certain social situations may arise from time to time where you cannot stay on top of your time, right? How you lock in. And that's understandable. But how do you rebound? How do you show up the following day, right? These are the questions I ask myself, is that if I have to go out tonight, or if I have to put myself in a situation where I lose sleep and I know it's going to be after 11 o'clock, right? How do I show up? Why am I going to this event? What benefit is there, right? And sometimes you have to make an appearance. I get it. Sometimes it's not about what you can get from it. It's the networking opportunity, and you're kind of paving a little bit of your capital forward in terms of building that relationship. Whatever event, party, club event, you know. A point of all of this is we write off sleep as if it doesn't matter, but it could be the very reason that's differentiating you from holding body fat, body water, right, water weight, and you're not able to flush that out of your system. That could be the very reason, and a lot of times it is that reason. Think about it, right? Because when you're sleeping, that's when the real recovery is happening in life. And from everything that's you've been doing, assuming you're training and eating right? The digestion, the sleep, the processing, deep REM sleep, all the hormones that your body produces through just a good night's rest and sleep is so important. Your blood flow, your heart rate, your recovery, how you wake up next day. All of these things are vital to your health. None of this moves. None of life doesn't happen if you don't get enough sleep. And I know there's a double-edged sword to all of this, is because some of us oversleep. See, what I'm trying to help us here, because I've had sleep issues all my life. I'm also on general anxiety medication. I take Xanax as I need it. Specifically in the night, I take one before I go to bed, an hour or so before I go to bed, so that it kicks in and my racing thoughts just kind of taper down, and I'm able to finally go into that zone where I can actually say, okay, you know what, I'm going to chill, I'm going to sleep, and I'll wake up next day and feel refreshed. Think about the strength you feel, all that good feeling that you have the following day when you wake up. You're able to operate. You're able to perform at a higher level versus just a matter of 3, 4, 5 hours of sleep, which is not sufficient. And some of us are operating this way. This is not, this is not something you can sustain for long periods of time, longevity. This is going to affect you. There's been studies that show that, not getting enough sleep, adequate sleep, especially at an older age even, right? has detrimental effects. Some people have passed away over time. Like I'm talking about a long periods of time of following this, not following a proper sleep hygiene, right? And so we wonder, why do people talk about sleeping strategically? And sleeping strategically means eat your meals early, finish your dinner, wrap it up. 2 hours before bed is the recommended, um, protocol, and then start. If you can finish all your meals by sunset, daylight, like 7 o'clock, 6, 7 o'clock. I know it's going to be hard, even 7:30. You're doing pretty well. You're priming yourself to go to bed, right? In these days, I tend to go to bed. I try to go to bed around 9, 9:30, 10, but I think I fail most times. I think if I'm in bed by 10 o'clock, that would be freaking amazing. But the thing is that I do make it to bed at around 9:30, 10. It's just that I don't find my deep sleep until 11 o'clock, 11:30. So it really comes down to me, myself, still fighting that battle, still fighting off the anxiety cobwebs, my racing thoughts. Some of these are sometimes these are great thoughts that I have in my head by way of ideas and creativity for YouTube content. I sometimes get some amazing ideas at night and racing thoughts that I just can't sleep. So, you know, these are all just part of the process, and why I encourage you to, do you. You know yourself better than anyone else, but just remember the wear and tear on your body, what you endure, how you recover, and how effective you are the next day in all your tasks, your daily rituals, office work, even physical movement, right? These are all important to your bodily functions, and this is where sleep hygiene really starts playing a role. And if you're on the path to self-improvement, guys, girls, I mean, fat is burned when you're sleeping. That's it. You're burning a lot of the fat while you're sleeping. You're burning a lot of the, you're recovering. Essentially, that's what you're doing. You're recovering. Your body is getting rid of toxins in that sense, right? And the last note is just be wary of drinking a lot of water right before bed. I would say stop trying to drink, water probably 2 hours before you go to bed. Because then you're gonna be waking up every time, going to the restroom, like I do most times. If you go once, that's fine. But if you're constantly going to the bathroom, it just means you're either hydrated to the max, right? You need to dial it back, or there could be other issues going on. You have to see a doctor for that. And then, when you go to bed early, you can wake up early and win the day next day. If you see how the pattern goes at the circle, right? So this is where sleep is so underrated. I think all of us can make a conscious effort to dial in to this habit and making this part of your self-improvement journey. I think by far the order I would put self-improvement is, nutrition, of course, sleep, and then training. Sleep and nutrition can be flipped around depending on when you break your fast, when you sleep, your work schedule. Training. All training comes like a little bit lower on that totem pole, is because if you don't have those two things dialed before your workout plan, no plan is going to work. If you're out eating your workout, you cannot outwork a bad diet, is what I'm trying to say. You cannot outwork and outsmart not sleeping. Okay, just a quick video on sleep hygiene, staying up to par on that. I'm gonna head back. I've been walking for about 30 minutes, pretty good. I'm still intermittent fasted, so it's a great start to the morning. I'll probably come back later in the afternoon to make more content. Till the next video, I'm out.